problems can be solved. Our challenges can be met. The path we offer may be harder, but it leads to a better place, and I'm asking you to choose that future.
Washington for us is Dan Raviv, an author and columnist for Newsday. Great to see you again, Dan. 768 pages. That's a lot of book.
That's why I haven't read it all yet. But the fact is that at age 59, and in politics that's rather young, isn't it? He considers himself an elder statesman. So when he signed a book contract after his time in office as president was over in January 2017, we expected one volume. We expected it to be really well written. And the book reviewers say it is very well written. It's a really good read. And now it turns out he's going to write 2 volumes. He has that much to say. More than 760 pages in volume 1. This is a memoir generally of his life before he was president, and then the first term, the first 4 years. But in all the interviews that Obama is giving about the book and its release, he, of course, is also talking a lot about Donald Trump. He doesn't like Trump, and Obama is thrilled that his vice president, Joe Biden, has been elected and will be the next president.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's read a quote out here. It was as if my very presence in the White House had triggered a deep-seated panic, a sense that the natural order had been disrupted, which is exactly what Donald Trump understood when he started peddling assertions that I had not been born in the United States and was thus an illegitimate president. For millions of Americans spooked by a black man in the White House, he promised an elixir for their racial anxiety. That is really something to put on Donald Trump.
Well, there's a lot about racism in this book, and as there should be, right? Because Barack Obama was the first African-American president, so far the only one. So there's no question that he would write about racism and what's happening in American society. But yes, he's hitting Donald Trump because you know what? Trump spent his 4 years as president, not quite over. It'll end on January 20th. Though Trump denies it. Anyway, Trump spent a lot of his time undoing things that Barack Obama did. So in that little stroll down memory lane that TRT World put together that we just looked at together, right? Obama proudly announced a nuclear accord with Iran. He proudly announced that the U.S. was joining the Paris Climate Change Accord. He also opened relations with communist Cuba. But you know what? Trump has undone all that and more. Trump has even tried to take apart Obamacare, the health care system here in the United States. And so clearly, Obama has had it with Trump, and this book is an opportunity to strike back.
And he does have a huge go also at the Republican Party, writing about Sarah Palin, who was on John McCain's presidential ticket in 2008. Obama writes this. He says, through Palin, it seemed as if the dark spirits that had long been lurking on the edges of the modern Republican Party, xenophobia, anti-intellectualism, paranoid conspiracy theories, and antipathy toward black and brown folks were finding their way to center stage. I mean, for a man who was in charge for 8 years of a country that has become increasingly divided, has always, of course, been divided along racial grounds, and the way he had to pick his way through while being a president with a minority in the Senate, and yet doing it without any scandal attached to his 8 years as president. That kind of sets him apart in a way to those who had gone before him, and certainly the man who came after him as well.
Well, among other things, the book makes clear that he is a family man. He writes about how his wife, Michelle Obama, a lawyer, a professional in Chicago, was angry at him for his ambition, wanting to run for president in 2008. He says that somehow Michelle Obama forgave him. But he, again, in the interviews this past week, he's expressing gratitude to his wife for doing just that. As for the fact that the book also takes a swipe at many politicians, but especially, of course, at Republicans. He describes what they're like. He says about Sarah Palin that she didn't know what she was talking about. But he has identified something important, that represented in the year 2008 a change in the Republican Party. That change is still underway, of course, and it's been noted, and Obama says he's deeply disappointed that the Republicans in Congress have gone along with Donald Trump's view of the world and his actions. By the way, speaking of the world, a lot of people are going through the long Obama book right now to find out what did he say about Vladimir Putin of Russia. He said physically not impressive, but he acted like he was a local political ward boss in Chicago. A 45-minute rant against U.S. policy by Putin when they met in 2009, when Obama was a new president. He also writes about Turkey's President Erdogan as being very cordial. He writes about Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu as thinking that he's the defender of all Jewish interests. But according to Obama, it was really about politics and Netanyahu wanting to stay in power. And so the book apparently is filled with vignettes and well written, too.
Dan, we could be looking at a memoir of POTUS 45, I suppose, in the not too distant future. Let's see what happens in the court. Dan Raviv from Newsday, thank you so much indeed.